Put that down. Let me go full screen. All right. Let's do it this way, damn it. Where's my TARDIS, man? Want to talk who? Wait, am I on me? Oh, there we go. The doctor is in! The doctor is in! He's in here. Hold on, let's look and see. Is he in there? No, he's
No,
not in there.
he's gone. It's a vacant
He
TARDIS.
went somewhere else. Okay. Uh, I gotta hit the button. Oh, I closed the wrong door. Hold on. There. Okay. Oh, I put it down. It's... Hey!
It's going on.
By the way, have you picked this one up?
No.
You still haven't picked it up. How about the Capaldi? Because the Capaldi one does the exact same thing, except I'm not going to pick it up because it'll, as it's doing now. It just has a different message thing on the front of the door. And I heard, there's some inconsistencies with the sound effects, which is why it was, I guess, kind of recalled.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was recalled. So
Yeah, but you can still get them on eBay. You can still get
all
them
right.
pretty cheap for like $50, But I just love the way that they. Damn it! It went off again. I just love the way it all lights up. You
Yeah.
can see through the windows. All right, put it down. Stop it. I know I
Does
could
the
just.
Capaldi one?
No, this is the
Does that
tenant.
light stay on the top?
Yeah, yeah. The light does not blink on the top of the Capaldi one. It just stays on. This is the David Tennant 10th Doctor version, which paid a I paid under $100 for it. It was up there near like $60, but I wanted it when I saw it on YouTube displayed with the lights and everything. And I also have like a real cheap one that doesn't light up. It's a bank, and
Oh,
it does make the sounds, not as much as this one, as irritating as this one. you know, Whenever you pick it up, it doesn't always do that. But
yeah.
it's a kind of it's a nice little collector's piece. This one's slightly bigger, taller, and widthwise, and it is more correct to the actual um, uh, um, diagnostics of the creation of the actual TARDIS. So I just had to get it. Like I got the sonic screwdrivers and I got this gigantic Dalek. Did I ever show you my Dalek?
No, I've only commented on the videos.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
I got the it's a radio controlled voice activated Dalek. You could do, controls and make it run around the room, or you could just set it to, hey Dalek, it'll go, yes, you know, cruise the room for intruders. Okay. And it'll just go along and it's pretty much like a what are those Robovacs, where
yeah.
if it senses there's a drop, it'll stop. If it senses there's a carpet or something, it'll stop and just turn and move along. So it's not so fun in my apartment because it's such a small apartment. But if you had a house, it would be pretty damn cool. And every once in a while, it says, you're an intruder, and it'll shoot you. And that thing was pretty damn. That is my most expensive Doctor Who collectible, I'll say. I don't know what it's worth now, but a good 6 years ago, I bought it for about $400.
I,
So
I suppose it's probably got a pretty penny.
Yeah, it's yeah. So you want it? You want to buy it? No.
If I had 400, maybe.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not worth 400 anymore. It's a little more up there. Anyway, hey everybody, welcome to Channel Donstar. Welcome to Talking. What is this called? Talking Who with Kam and Rog,
I don't know.
or just
Who
talking?
chat, Doctor
Yeah,
Who discussion.
yeah. Hopefully, our well, today we're lucky we're on. Um, but hopefully a maybe it'll be a monthly thing. Since we do have when does the new season, the new Capaldi season start, or when does class
Um,
start?
Class starts. I read October 22nd.
Oh, that's this month. Okay. Well, it's the
So
first. It's the first of
yeah.
October right now. So
Um, Series 10. I'm gonna assume will air sometime in April. I don't think they have a start date yet, but
okay,
I that roughly around April sounds. Um,
okay. That sounds good. So we have plenty of time to go through the whole season, from season one up through season nine. Uh, Originally we were thinking, well, I was thinking about doing one a week of these and go through each season. And depending on how Google and how YouTube is, I mean, to be totally candid and honest, we spent almost about an hour trying to figure out the Google Hangout thing on YouTube, and apparently they changed everything. And I decided, well, we can hang out, but we can't do a live telecast. So I'm just going to OBS and record our conversation tonight.
and
And
then we were trying to do Skype, and Skype, we couldn't get any picture between either of us.
no, we just had our icon. So I don't even know what was wrong with Skype. It was, who knows? Who knows? Just bad luck. But it was like, we're going through it. We're going to get it done.
We came this far.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to spend an hour trying to figure it out and then just say, oh, screw it. Let me at least do it this way. It's a little different because I have to switch. Like there's Cameron, there's me, there's Cameron, there's me. I have to physically actually, excuse me, change the visuals. So it's not too much of a hassle, but it is. And yeah, so in the last video, which was chopped up in 5 parts, unfortunately, because at that time, which was just last week or two ago, I still had a copyright strike on my channel where I couldn't upload anything longer than 15 minutes. And according to YouTube's copyright thing, I wasn't going to be able to upload anything more than that until December. Well, lo and behold, which I got to bring something up to you, Ken. Lo and
Okay.
behold, they raised the copyright thing, so now I have full blanche. I'm back again. They're okay. They deleted that video that I had a problem with, which I was telling somebody, if YouTube would just contact the uploader and say, look, this is, well, they're not going to say look, but they're going to say, you
Look,
have, yeah, look, you have uploaded a copyrighted video. Your channel will get a strike if you continue to have it up. Please delete or rethink it. I would have taken it down like that. But they don't. They pretty much just shut down everything and they say, you got a copyright strike. You're not going to be back until December. Have a great day. Just let me know. Just let me know if it's not a good video. If it's going to get striked, I'll take it down and we'll move on. Or which I have gotten in the past, my movie reviews. I throw a little clip here and there, maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds of a movie at the very beginning. If I get a strike, tell me. I won't put that there. I'll take it out and just do the review. But YouTube is under some kind of weird computer program where they just, you got a strike. Goodbye. We don't care. Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, the strike has risen so that I'm debating whether I'm going to re-upload our first video as one single video as opposed to it being in 5 parts, or I'll just leave it like that, and then every future video that we do will be a complete video. Hopefully no longer than an hour. Like I was telling you in your messages, I kind of like the idea that our first one was in chapters. It was kind of like calling back to the old, the Doctor Who chapter thing. Or stay tuned next week, you'll hear why Cameron likes Capaldi the best. So yeah, that's the way it's going to go. Hopefully everything will be fine, and I'm being very cautious now with what I'm posting because I don't want any more strikes, man. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm doing my own thing, and if it's a little music strike and they just say, "Oh, you can't collect money on this video. The money's gonna go to the songwriter." That's fine. Just keep my video up there. I don't care about getting money or not. It's fine. Just leave my video up there. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, man, we're talking. Well, I'm talking like I normally do. Just on and on. Okay, so in this exciting, thrill-packed episode of Doctor Who Chat with Kam and Raj, we're going to enter into the very first, the return of Doctor Who to our television screens. After Cam, how long between the Sylvester McCoy? Well, how long between Paul McGann and this?
That's actually roughly a decade because the eighth movie came out in 1996, which is the year I'm born.
Wow.
It actually came out like a month later after I was born, sometime in May, as I was born at the end of April. And then I believe the revived series started in 2005?
2004. 2004 is when Russell T. Davies brought back, I believe, maybe it was 2005 when it was broadcast, but I seem to remember 2004. Yeah. And that was the Christopher Eccleston season.
That's
Go ahead.
8 or 9 years.
Yeah, almost a decade, like you said. And you know what? I don't know if we touched on this before. This is the first time I'm hearing you were born right around the time the Paul McGann movie came out. How did you get hooked on Doctor Who?
Well, we discussed that. My first full episode was a David Tennant episode, but I had seen fragments of it in the past. And as I was watching the Paul McGann movie, at some point, I'd actually seen that as a kid. Because there were scenes or images throughout that film, which I actually recalled.
Yeah.
And mainly at that party where the doctor claims that he's half human on his mother's side.
Yeah.
I remembered that. And I remember him walking through Grace's house because the gravity of the earth is changing. Mm-hmm. And he walks through glass.
Yes.
I'd actually remember some of those scenes, and I was like, how much of that did I actually sit and watch this as a kid at some point?
You had to have been very young unless you watched it in reruns, which I don't believe it was rerun very much.
It could have been when did the DVD come out?
Oh, I don't know.
So I must have said it probably has a rerun or something. I remembered vivid images. Wow. So
some good parents propped you up rightly in front of the television at the right time.
No, it was just probably me surfing the channel. Bored.
Because I don't remember that getting many reruns. I thought, if not, I might be mistaken, but I thought it maybe only had one or two showings until the new Who came back.
So,
But that's cool.
well, they could actually, because it's a New Year Eve um, episode,
Yeah,
because it takes place 1999 New Year's Eve into the new century. So it could have been broadcast at that point, in
yeah,
which I would be 4 or 5 ish. So
yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't like the half human aspect of the Doctor. Knowing that, now knowing that you've kind of gone back and revisited the history, I know you haven't seen every single episode, but knowing the history of the Doctor, does that bother you? That he
yeah,
they introduced that he's a half human?
yes, and not just take it as like a side joke right now.
Hmm.
That's him just BSing everything. Uh,
I don't think has he ever brought that up in any of the new series that
um,
he's half human.
Series 9 is the only mention of it.
Okay,
Right at the end when he's talking with
Clara.
me or a shielder or whatever her name is.
Oh,
Um, and she's coming up with all these theories of that he is the hybrid.
yeah,
And one of them is there a reason why you hang out with humans so much? Because humans would be considered one of the most deadliest warrior races
right,
because we're such an angry race.
right.
So that's like at least a nod towards him being part human.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
yeah.
otherwise, I don't think the new series has been dumb enough to touch it.
But then again, I mean, you have later in the series, you have the marriages, you have Clara Oswald traveling through time, knowing all the doctors and saving them along the way. There are so many little things that have happened in the new series that are great and cool and wow, I never thought of that. But then again, it's just does it work?
Yeah, there's. I realize we're really off topic right now,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the one thing that upsets me about Clara Oswald over everything is right after number 11 regenerates, and she's having such a hard time taking this in, and does not
yeah,
believe that he
yeah,
was a young face and now he's an old face. And I'm sitting here like, you just watched or you witnessed all 13 incarnations
yeah.
before this.
You were there with Hartnell saying, "Take this Tartarus."
Yes, and then at some point she would have seen Paul McGann,
Sure.
and the doctor after him is the war doctor, and that guy's really old, and he's seen the battle, and she's just like, she's okay with it.
Yeah.
And then Paulie comes along, and she's like, he's old.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like the writer just dropped that history, and
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, now let's just it's like there were like 4 or 5 episodes and the anniversary special that was just forgotten, and
yeah, and then
now we're continuing on, and I was there scratching my head going, wait a minute, she should know all this stuff.
and then what else kind of got me is she's the one that allowed him to regenerate.
Hmm.
If it wasn't for her, the doctor would be dead right now.
Yeah, yeah,
But because she spoke to the Time Lords,
many
now
times.
yeah, now he's back and full fledged, at least 13 more new lives, and she's sitting there like, but he's old. He's got wrinkles.
Yeah, yeah, a
I
little.
mean, it doesn't upset me that much. It's just one of those like inconsistencies.
Mhm. Okay, going back to the introduction to season one. Um, I have my own memories and thoughts about it, but I'm curious of yours, being that you knew of the Doctor from the Paul McGann movie. From that movie to the start of the new season, did you ever look back at any of the older episodes?
Um, I think, well, like I said, the first full episode was 10. I kind of knew of the show, uh, but so I never watched series 9, Doctor 9, or series 1 as it aired.
Okay.
But um, I did not make the connection when I watched the 10th Doctor that it was the same person that I saw during the movie as a kid, because
So
I
there,
barely remembered the kid as a
so
kid.
there was a break there during 9 where you stopped watching and then you started again when 10 was on and you were
Yeah.
like, "Wait, who's this guy?"
And then that's when I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. I'll watch a couple more episodes," and then I was hooked.
Hmm.
Um, but as a kid, it didn't dawn on me that I had seen parts of the show. Um, like I had mentioned, I'd seen. I always forget the episode name. It's the one with the Doctor on Mars with Sarah Jane.
Yeah,
Pyramids of Mars.
Pyramids of Mars. Yeah. Well, he
I've
wasn't on
seen.
Mars.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but that's one that I
That
had.
was the one with the mummies, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it?
Yeah, the mummies and I
And
can't even remember the
the
guy.
three questions to get by him with Omega.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'd seen that as a kid at some point, and I'd seen a Third Doctor story. I don't even know which Third Doctor story I'd seen,
Hmm.
um, because of the 5 or 6 that I have actually sat through and recalled. They aren't any of them.
Okay.
So I'm hoping as I'm watching the Third Doctor that I will come across the episode that I had seen, uh, and then I'm pretty sure I've seen one of 7 at some point prior to me watching the 10th Doctor. And then, like I said, I didn't even connect the dots until much later when he regenerated. And I was like, what? And then,
And
I
that,
looked up the history. I'm like, holy.
oh, this makes all sense now.
Yeah. But
I'd have to say it's an amazing concept that the producers of the show created, uh, not even knowing how far ahead in the future the show was going to go. You know, with Hartnell's health failing, and then bringing in, um, oh, tell me who the second Doctor is. And
Patrick Troughton.
Troughton, and then Pertwee, and it was such a genius idea to create the regenerating of the character. Um,
Well, I was reading, right now I'm on Hartnell's last episode, The 10th
mhm,
Planet. And I was reading an article the other day saying that at the time, it wasn't called regeneration. It was called, or the second Doctor notes it as renewal.
okay,
So I guess when it first happened, it was implied that he was the same character, which I mean, he still is, but all he did was get younger. Um, but he didn't physically change anything. This is just how he looked like when he was younger.
okay,
But it was implied later on when the third Doctor came along and said, no, this is a whole new body.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And then Baker takes over with the man. You know, that's a whole nother topic we can go into probably at a later date because we haven't even gotten on today's topic, the main topic yet. But how each new regeneration deals with the change. Um, Baker being a little crazy, and then Peter Davison, you know, pulling apart the scarf throughout the TARDIS, and even jumping ahead to David Tennant in the Christmas episode, being half asleep through the whole thing because he's busy during the regeneration and not knowing who he is or what he is. And And then to jump into the super quickness of Matt Smith into Capaldi, and and he's
Bam.
like, "Oh, I'm not ginger. Oh, I have two kidneys," or whatever he says there. It's it's a like I said, that's a whole nother conversation we can take on how they all. I mean, geez, Pertwee, he comes out of the TARDIS and falls over, and it's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, what? You know, but so okay, that led us off into that. So
So the topic of the day
yeah, well,
is
Christopher Eccleston. I got you off track,
it's okay.
asking you what you remembered after the Paul McGann, if you had a history of the Doctor. Um, when Chris Eccleston came on, oh, before we go into him, I'm gonna throw this off again. But before we even go into him, you know the Doctors by number.
Yeah.
What do you think of the War Doctor? Is he 11? Is
Um.
he 10?
I
Actually, 10?
I just call him.
War Doctor.
Well, no, because war is 9. Um.
Oh,
But
9. 9.
I just refer to them as a war, and 9 is 9, 10 is 10, 10 is 10, and 11 is 11.
And
So
you don't even number
I
him in there. He was in
you
only
just
one or two episodes, and
and even if he was, if I were to refer to him, I just call him the ninth incarnation of the
okay.
Doctor. So
I haven't followed that much on the Big Finish audio plays or even the books. Is he numbered in any of those?
no, interestingly enough, no, he's still just the War Doctor, but he in those he still doesn't refer to himself as War or Doctor. I mean, he's just he's just there.
Okay.
He doesn't really like being called by name.
Okay. Okay. I do love that. Sticking with him a little bit, I do love how they brought Paul McGann back for that short with the Sisters of
Uh, is it
what are they
Sisterhood
called?
of Karn?
The
Is it
Sisterhood
Karn?
of Karn? Yeah, where they bring him back and then transform him into the War Doctor. And I wish on the Blu-rays or DVDs, I don't know the DVDs, but I have all the Blu-rays. But I wish they were set where when you play all, they
Yeah,
play in a correct order because that's only as an extra, just like the other the Time Crash with Peter Davison. Um, I wish that was integrated before certain episodes, before the Titanic episode, as it were, um, or the Poseidon Adventure episode, as it were. We'll get into that when we get into Tennant near the end there. So anyway, yeah, we're talking about Russell T Davies, this person who I have only heard about from a show he called. There we go again with my mind. Um, the one where he was in the funeral parlor. Uh, didn't he do a show? Not better off dead. Oh my God!
I'm looking up his credits right now.
Thank you, thank you.
Um,
Everybody out there is yelling it at us, and I'm like, stupid Roger can't think of.
um,
It's not better off dead. It's about life in a funeral home, and anyway, so he comes up with this great great scheme to bring the Doctor back to us, um, which was brilliant, which was amazing because the Doctor was gone for so long. I mean, you know, you can go back to the Sylvester McCoy, and it's like that's the end of the series. Paul McGann was brought up. An American version of Doctor Who was brought up as, here's the Doctor. We're bringing him back. But America really didn't know him other than a few fans. And they tried to reintroduce him and his mythology in that movie. And it was so great that they got Sylvester McCoy at the very beginning to connect the dots, as it were. But like I mentioned earlier, there's that half-human thing. There's that him falling in love with her and the kiss, which should never have happened, according to a lot of Who fans. And then out of nowhere, run for your life. There's Christopher Eccleston with the bomb and the Cam. You probably know Who more than I do. Who are the mannequin character? The Autons. I'm sorry.
Autons and Nestine Conscience.
Yes.
The leader of the.
Yes, the big roar.
I was trying to find something on that movie because I know there were two people that were almost casted as the Doctor at the time. Peter Capaldi being one of them.
Really, he was considered back then.
He was contacted by his agent. This is in I think during like a Comic-Con that he stated this, and he surprised everybody by saying it. But he was contacted by his agent to say, "Hey, these people are asking for you to see if you're interested. You want to take the role as the Doctor?" And he's like, "Oh, this isn't the time for it." And so he denied it then. And I think it was there's somebody else that was contacted for it.
Well, as you're looking,
but I'm not finding it. So
yeah,
this is Wikipedia, because this is the fastest I could find it.
Yeah.
Among the actors who were invited to audition for the role of the Eighth Doctor but declined the opportunity were Christopher Eccleston and Peter Capaldi. And Eccleston denied it for whatever reason.
Well, Eccleston had a little bit of a history with Russell T Davies. He had done a miniseries. I believe it was before Who. I believe it was called The Second Coming.
Yep.
Where he played a Christ figure.
Yeah.
Which I thought was fantastic. I
do own it on DVD. It is. I think it's really good.
Me too. Just like David Tennant's Casanova, which we can talk about when we get to his era. But I thought Second Coming was amazing, and I had only seen Eccleston in 28 Days Later. I believe he was the sergeant near the end. Yeah. And never even thought. I mean, at that time, Who was pretty much gone from my mind, other than the classic series. And I had no idea who, other than they did a, I don't know if it was a Children in Need, but they did a parody.
With Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah, not Rowan Atkinson so much, but the other guy.
Hugh Grant
would have made
Richard Grant and
Richard E. Grant, yeah, from Hudson Hawk, and then they even had the female Doctor in there.
But that's interestingly enough written by Stephen Moffat.
Yes, and I love it. It's such a great little comedy. It really is.
And for anybody watching, it's called Doctor Who and the Curse of the Fatal Death. If you ever wanted to see the Doctor fart with the Master, among Daleks.
And geez, I mean, Mr. Bean as a Doctor? Come on.
Amazing.
And we have to talk about, remind me, Cameron, if I forget in my old age, The Five Doctor, the anniversary
Five,
special,
oh, the Five-ish Doctors.
the Five-ish Doctors. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is genius. Anyway, that's way ahead. Um, so anyway, yeah, I had only seen Eccleston that way. I had no idea who would be a new Doctor. I heard the show was coming back,
I,
and I there you go. Let me switch it. There we are. Yeah.
just so everybody knows we're still on this,
Yes.
but we're getting there.
I have not bought that season yet. I
I
have
still
all the
regret
other.
buying it when I did.
I have all the others from the UK because I couldn't wait, but I didn't have enough funds to get the first season, and so I watched them on recorded. I won't say where, uh, but I will be getting that first season eventually. Um, yeah, and then all of a sudden I heard all this noise about Doctor Who's coming back. Doctor Who is coming back, and it's going to be a BBC show. And well, that's great. I hope it does well. And every week, because back in that time, when that aired in 2004, BBC America was not airing them yet. So I don't care. I don't care. I had to go to other means and download the episodes and watch them every single week. I think it wasn't until the Matt Smith years that BBC America started airing them consecutively on the day that they were aired.
Oh, on the broadcast date.
Yeah, broadcast date, but a few hours before or after. I believe it was after. Um, so all those earlier seasons, I would partake in downloading the episodes and watching them. I have bought them, so copyright people forget about it. You know, I did buy them eventually. That's the whole point of downloading, to test them. Um, and it's the old, run for your life. It was such a big, big thing when Eccleston came back. And I have a lot of news footage from the UK and interviews from Billy Piper and Eccleston just talking about bringing the show back, and Russell T Davies. Um, I'd have to say I was totally on board right from the beginning, from the first episode. Um, I had issues with it. I had issues with it, but it was just so great. And there were so many great little monologues and a lot of great humor. Oh, look at these ears. That it was like, wow, this is different. This is a different Doctor Who. It. How did you feel about the new Eccleston season? Starting
Well,
the first episode, at least.
my I have a phone ringing. Um,
Just leave it.
that's what I'm gonna do. Um, my initial thought is because
But
this
you
is
saw
after
it later. You saw it later, because
I saw it when Matt Smith started,
yeah,
because I never watched really reruns or whatever,
right.
and I didn't even know Eccleston existed as a doctor until after David Tennant regenerated, and I'm like, what is going on here? But going back after I found out, I was watching Rose, the episode, which is the first episode, and what always bugs me is the CGI.
Yeah,
It's a great episode. It's a great place to kickstart a show.
the whole
CGI is
garbage can sucking Mickey into the garbage can.
so bad.
It's still because just rewatched it a few weeks ago, and it's still cringing. It's that, and then the ending, like I said, the rubber thing coming
He's
out.
sitting there like fighting with orange face.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
and the head pulling the head off.
But what I did like is uh, the guy, I can't remember his name. I think Clive Gulling, which is the guy who's been searching for the Doctor
Yes.
throughout
Yeah.
the internet and stuff. And I really liked what he brought right away.
Yes.
The mystery of the Doctor, the death following him.
And I was so
And
disappointed that they didn't carry on his character
yeah,
throughout the series.
he died, and the whole mystery just stopped.
Yeah.
And I was so like that's one thing I wish would have carried on.
Yeah. I mean, he was a historian, on here he is on the Titanic, here he is here, here he is there. And I would have loved that character for Rose and Mickey to be going back and visiting this guy and him possibly even becoming part of,
The
the
crew.
companions. Yeah, and but yeah, by them just ending, it was like, whose decision was that? Yeah.
And and I get that it's a new show, but I'm surprised that they didn't bring up any of the past Doctors. Because I mean, he makes one note of because he appears in so many different times. He makes note that it seems to be a title passed on from generation to generation,
Right.
but it's always the same face. Um, which I'm surprised that they didn't. He didn't mention at least John Pertwee's Doctor, number 3,
Right.
because he was in Unit,
Right. Right.
and Unit is in the show later on.
Or
I
even
think
or even Paul McGann's Doctor.
so.
Because he was in the modern times.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
but that
so
we
that's one
saw.
of those.
I mean, all of them were probably in the modern times, but
And I'm aware that it started off with the assumption that nobody knows what the show is, so it has to have a clean slate.
hmm
But likewise, for anybody that didn't know, I think would have added a mystery, saying, "Hey, you got like 4 of the guys out there that have the same motto, same name."
hmm
You know, it would have been fun to tackle it, but
yeah, yeah,
likewise, they probably weren't expecting it to succeed. So
yeah. I can kind of go along with that. That it was kind of like an experiment to bring the show back, not knowing if it was going to be a hit or not.
yeah,
Um, and it was. It was a big freaking hit, man. It took off, and whether it be the greatness of the acting of Eccleston, who was a great actor at that time, or considered a great actor at the time, or the popularity of Billy Piper being a music star at that time. Um, Not to mention that the mythology of Doctor Who was around for eons. Um, yeah, I think they might have been playing it a little safe. Um,
yeah,
um, yeah, to go on what you were saying, the CGI is a little faulting, especially throughout that entire first season. I'll have to say, I have not
yeah.
even started the Tennant years yet because I've been waiting to talk to you about this before I even move on because I want them fresh when we talk. Because I've only, to be totally honest, I've only seen a handful of episodes a number of times and complete series only once. So I'm very looking forward to revisiting all the series back to back. But so I completed the Eccleston series. And yeah, this first episode was, it almost was kind of like they didn't need to push the humor that much, which they
Yeah.
did with Mickey and that. Um,
Well,
and the mom.
Mickey, I think is just such a waste of a character myself. At least in this season, um,
Yeah, in this season, definitely. Yeah.
because he's whiny, and then Rose looks like a well, she kind of looks like a bitch, just ditching him. Um,
Well, that, yeah.
especially especially after his state of like complete utter lost after everything that just happened, and then he's like, "Oh, it's a time machine." She just darts off, and
Yeah.
he's sitting there like, really like, I don't know. If I were him, I'd probably go mental.
And then when she comes back, was it through Boom Time?
Um,
I think that might be the one when she first comes back and meets Mickey again. He does have a
Aliens of
little.
London.
Was
Aliens
it
of London. That's what
Aliens
the
of London?
Slovene. Yeah.
Where she comes back and the mom, it's only been a month. No, it's been a year.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, there's a little animosity there, but not enough. You're right. It wasn't until like the second season that Mickey started to, Girl in the Fireplace, from what I remember, really started to fit in. Um, so, um, so yeah. Rose took off way fast. Um, didn't care too much for the Autons. I mean, I like the Autons, but I didn't care for the ending, as we talked
Yeah.
about. Her being the hero, jumping, swinging across the, thing. And all right, let's move on, since this is already probably an hour long.
Yeah.
The End of the World, I believe it's called.
End of the world with the face of Bo and uh, the trampoline thing.
The Trampoline Woman. Yeah, Cassandra, right?
Moisturize me. Yeah.
Cassandra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, CGI spider effects just didn't do it for me. It was like, all right, well, we
For
need
being like
aliens.
it just it's two CGI eyes on a CGI peach colored thing.
Yeah, but we needed aliens, and at least we didn't have people in rubber suits, you know.
Well, yeah, but she was human.
Well,
She was
I'm talking
she was
her.
the
I'm not
last.
talking her. I'm talking about the spiders, the
Oh
CGI,
yeah, well,
which we already saw. I don't know if that was before or after Lost in Space, the the theatrical film, which we
I
saw
don't know
the
when that
little
was.
spiders running around like that, these metallic spiders. Um, but that's what bugged me. Not so much Cassandra. I didn't mind any of the alien species. Face a Bow had no idea what that was until we find out later.
Spoiler alert.
Possibly, possibly. Could it be? That's a whole nother topic me and you could talk about. Is that what happens? Wait a minute. Um, and then the I can't think of the alien species, but the tree
Oh,
people, and
tree people.
the tree people, I'll call them. And I don't think they were the tree people from the Christmas episode, which comes on, I believe, in Matt Smith's Christmas
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
I think
The
they're a different race. Um, but I have to say the highlight of that episode for me was the scene where she's confronting the doctor about his past and he starts breaking down. When they're at that switch where they got to stop the
the fans.
motors. Yeah, and she sacrifices herself. Um, that was a fantastic scene. Again, Eccleston. Eccleston really captured a character of the Doctor that um, just tapped into the character really well and brought a sympathy to him and brought a pathos, and it was something you didn't see in a long time, something that was there through most of the Doctors but were hidden. I can think back at like Tom Baker, especially in his farewell to Sarah Jane, where he was talking and he didn't really show his distraughtness of Sarah leaving him, the aloneness that he's going to be. But there was something there, that you knew he doesn't like this. And there are many moments throughout the entire season where the Doctor shows that. But here it was like the first time you actually kind of, possibly the first time he brought up the Time War, where he,
Yeah, the subtle hint at it. I think he just refers to it as a war, though.
Just a war. Yeah, between the but he does bring up the Daleks, doesn't he?
Um,
Or he just
actually,
or he just brings up there's a war that destroyed my entire race.
yeah, because I don't think Daleks are mentioned until he appears.
Okay.
So
Yeah, but I mean I really enjoyed that speech that they or that conversation they have. And I love the idea of the episode that the first place he brings Rose, a person from Earth, is to the end of the Earth. And I actually, jumping ahead, love the callback with, I can't think of the episode, where they're back on that same space station. Um, but I believe. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was pretty damn good. Not great. I wasn't expecting it. Kind of like Matt Smith jumping ahead with the whale episode with the thing on the whale's back. It was kind of like this is a good episode, but I want something a little different, you know. Anyway, I talked enough. What'd you think of the episode?
um, when I first saw it, I thought it was really good, especially because what I think Rose does is introduce the fact that companions do miss where they're from.
Hmm.
Generally, from what I've witnessed throughout the classic series, is the companions never seem homesick,
Yeah,
um,
this is the
which is
first time.
fine and all.
This is the first time a companion had a phone to call home too.
Yes. Um, so, uh, and that's what I liked when she gets that chance to call home,
Hmm.
and she's so bewildered that she's at the end of the earth, and supposedly she's looking down at her mother's dead body on the earth, supposedly. Um, and now she's talking to her on her cell phone back in current time,
Yeah.
or at least present day for her mom. And like I said, that's just a bit that we never really got to see. Susan, because I'm rewatching the first Doctor,
Mhm.
kind of feels like that because she's kind of sick of, by the end of her tenure, she's sick of running around all the place. She kind of wants to stay put. But she has a hard time leaving her grandfather, the Doctor. Uh, but there's a point at which where the Doctor's like, "You're gonna stay here. I think it's best. As much as I want you to, stick with me, stay here." And he gives that famous speech: "Go forward in all your beliefs, so that I may go forward in mine."
Yep.
Um, but as I'm reflecting throughout the Fourth Doctor's era, none of them really had grief leaving. When they were done, they're just kind of like, "I'm just going to hang around here for a while now." There's nothing in their tenure where they're like, I mean, I kind of miss home. I kind of want to see mom again, hang out with friends.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just, I think I'm done now. You can go do whatever you want next, Doctor. I'm gonna chill with these guys. Um, and the rest I can't speak for because I haven't sat through um their whole tenure yet. But
Hmm.
that's at least from my experiences, and it was really nice to see that in this episode where uh, she's gonna miss home. However, I think Rose should later on. Rose, I think, keeps to it too much. Um, I think she's too focused about herself than going out there and enjoying the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's more so in series two.
Right. Right. I was just gonna say, do you think that's because this is a new experience for her? And all she knew was home, boyfriend, work, which
Work blown up.
possibly, which possibly makes, well, work blowing up, which possibly makes her a good companion because she's just bored, you know.
Yeah. Um. But
The other, the other companions seem to have just been plucked out of their everyday life. And here Rose is just, which leads into that decision where she just leaves Mickey and runs to the TARDIS at the end. You know?
Yeah. Um, I don't know. Now you really like that she got to go to the end of the universe.
Yeah.
However, that was great and all, but I think that was way too early to do something like that for this show. To
Yeah,
restart.
I agree. Wasn't Utopia supposed to be the end of the universe?
Well, this was End of Earth.
Oh, this is
Um,
the end of Earth. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then the 12th Doctor ended Series 9. He's at the end of existence.
Exenda. Yeah, we'll get to there later. Okay.
But I think my main problem with the new series is it's always the end of something.
Yeah.
At least that's what it seems like. And I think
I was going to say, stepping back, just looking at the first season, I think they want, I could understand them wanting to do that, being that here's a new season about a time traveler and someone from Earth, us, as it will, watching it through her eyes. And we we experienced an alien supposed attack on Earth. We're going to go to where? Where would somebody want to go in time? To the future. Let's go to the future. Which leads us into our next episode. Where else do you want to go? Let's go to the past. The Unquiet Dead. Which,
Charles Dickens.
yeah, you know, I mean, let's see what happens now in the past. Let's have a period piece. So I think Davies, as the producer, just kind of wanted to give us a taste of everything, you know, of what the series could bring to us. Before I go into it, what did you think of The Unquiet Dead?
Unquiet Dead. To me, it feels like an episode I would never like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it's just one of those weird ones where I feel like I would get bored with the kind of story.
Sure.
But I think Charles Dickens being in it adds some fun and adds interest. Ghosts are always kind of weird with this show because they just never let them be ghosts.
Yeah.
It's always an alien. And this is one time, if it were just plain ghosts and not aliens trying to intrude into the world, I think it would have been an amazing episode.
Mm-hmm.
They introduce a little supernatural, something the Doctor cannot control.
Yeah.
But once again, it's a new series, so clearly they're not going to do that. It's got to be alien. But what surprises, I think, me the most with the episode is the death of, what's her name? Gwyneth?
The Handmaiden?
Yeah, because she's the same actress. Because her character's name is Gwyneth in this one. And she's the same actress in Torchwood that plays Gwen. And they're very similar names.
Oh, I didn't even connect that. Okay.
No, but that I think is one of the most powerful images in the entire series for the first series. Where she's standing under that arc, or that whatever it is, and all those beings are using her body, and the Doctor is like telling Rose, "No, I'll get her. Don't worry. You go out there. You go. I'll get her." And he's looking at her like, "You've been dead for a while."
Yeah.
And then walks out. And then it blows up. I don't know. That's one of the most powerful scenes, I think, in this series, and probably in a top 10 of the whole series as a whole.
Wow. Wait, the whole series or
at least of the new
season?
series. In terms of knowing that the Doctor could not control. He thought he could, and then he couldn't. And I just think that brings a sense of humanity to the Doctor, because we as humans always want to control. Yeah. For example, controlling a video hangout when we clearly cannot.
Well, I think we're getting along all right with this.
But it's just that sense of we're like the Doctor. We always want to control something, and then when we thought we could, we ended up losing more than just letting things be what it is.
Yeah.
Um,
To be totally honest, I wasn't too much of a fan. And it was kind of like what you said. It was the whole ghost thing. Um, I like the Dickens stuff. I love the setting. I mean, the BBC does period pieces to the hilt. They're beautiful. I mean, they just visually amazing to look at, costume, visually. But and I like the whole, I like the relationship between Rose and the handmaiden that happened. Um, but by the end, I was, yeah, it's not one of my favorite episodes. It's out of all the episodes of season one or series one, um, it's down at the bottom. It's down at the
huh.
bottom. Maybe not the last, not the worst, but it is down there. I don't know what it is. I just didn't get that emotion that you're talking about, and I totally respect it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, also, this is the closest we'll ever get to a Christmas special for
Yes,
number 9.
yeah,
So,
it could have been a Christmas episode. It really could
yes.
have.
Um, I don't know, but it's a little higher on my list. So,
Hmm.
but I don't know. It was just one of those. I think going into it not knowing or not liking it, but keeping an open mind allowed me to kind of look at it a little more deeper.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I didn't like it the first time around. It was after watching it a couple more times that I started to enjoy it.
yeah. I mean, like I said,
So
I just rewatched them too, and being that it was my second viewing of the thing, I did like it a lot more than the first time. But yeah, the first time it was very forgettable for me. Um, but um, what is
there was
next?
I was gonna say there's one thing I wanted to add.
Go ahead.
Um, that bittersweet moment. That's actually the whole episode is just bittersweet. But at the end, where Charles Dickens gets inspiration again, and he walks off like he's gonna go do a whole bunch of stuff, and Rose is all proud that they changed history, and the Doctor's like, no, he didn't. He's gonna fall into slumber and die.
Yeah, yeah.
We can't do anything about it. And
That happens a few times in Who, doesn't it? I
yeah,
mean,
or at least where it's more potent.
yeah, where
Um,
where it's like here we are, and yeah, he's a great person, but yeah, it's almost his time. I'm thinking of the Matt Smith. Oh God, the one that
those robots.
brings me to tears. No, the one with the not Da Vinci,
Oh,
um,
Vincent Van Gogh.
Van Gogh one. Oh my God, when we get to there, I'm probably going to be in tears talking about it because I love that episode so much. That's one of my favorite Doctor Who episodes of all time.
And then there's a point in the 10th Doctor, Waters of Mars, where
Yeah.
he tries to
Oh,
control it. He tries to stop it, and when he tries, still fails.
that final scene with the gunshot in the doorway.
So,
And yeah, 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 yeah.
so
Um, all
continuing
right.
on.
Now,
Vivian.
now on to probably in my consideration, the worst two-parter Doctor Who episode and the worst villains of Doctor Who that I have ever seen. Great storyline, but my God, did they have to make them farty in big giant suits? Come
Because of
on.
calcium.
Yeah, it's, you know,
They're so bad.
the
They're so
less
bad, they're almost good.
the less we say about this episode, the better. You know, I'll be honest. There is one CGI shot. I believe it's in the second episode where the camera is just set in a room and they're running across and they're in CGI and they're like
Yeah.
animals. They're like on all fours. It's like, oh my God, that looks horrifying. Why couldn't you do that? No, they have these big rubber, blinky eyes. Oh, excuse my farts. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, I
and
did not like Aliens. Uh,
there was that, and I did not like Harriet Jones in this
no, no.
because she kept going around Harriet Jones, whatever the heck she was from. But she constantly kept saying that, and then I don't know if it was supposed to be Russell T Davies saying, as an introduction to women can get power and can do things,
Yeah.
but if they made her a likable character, maybe that message would have came off
Yeah,
better.
but did you know at the very end, I kind of really like that final bit where she has Unit blow up the spaceship as it's leaving. And the doctor comes up and says, I can destroy you with 6 words. And it's
She's
like,
like,
doesn't she look tired? It was like, yeah, that's great, you know. But then they brought her back later, which we'll talk about. But
yeah. So, um, but yeah, I don't think this episode really has much to add. Although Mickey has a couple of redeeming moments and then becomes crap again.
yeah,
Her, Rose's mother calls
yeah,
alien people, and she's like, "Oh, the doctor's gonna get taken away, haha, hee hee, hoo ha," to the funny farm. No, he
yeah.
just becomes important.
No,
So
no,
let's continue.
no,
No one
no,
wants to hear
no. The only good moment I see in that room is the da 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 da, which comes way later. You know what I'm talking
that.
about,
Yeah,
don't you? Yeah.
yeah, the sound of the drums.
Yeah. That which has problems, which we'll talk about when we get there. But that conference room is forever tainted by farty aliens.
And they're not done. We're not
Yeah.
done with them yet.
No, no. What's next? Dalek?
Yeah, no, yeah, Dalek, yeah,
Dalek. Well, after how many years of the series being gone, the Doctor's greatest foe um makes a return. And I was a little iffy at the start with this collector guy. You know, it was so great to see them arrive in the TARDIS and go through the museum and see all the different artifacts. That was so fantastic. And then you got this guy who is just, you know, this is. Uh, and then the woman takes over and she's just as bitchy and everything. But the minute he is locked in the room with the Dalek, and although we already knew it was a Dalek from the next time, you know,
yeah,
preview,
which is kind of a disappointment.
yeah, um,
Although, what's really cool about that museum is they show in a classic Cyberman head.
yes, yes, a classic,
That was
yes,
cool.
yeah. That's what I said. I mean, the opening was fantastic. It was like,
And then they also had a slitheen arm.
hmm and yeah, when Eccleston's in the room with the Dalek, and it comes to life,
Oh my gosh, he's
and
so
it
scary.
realizes who he is. Oh, that fear is amazing. For him realizing, that there's one left. You know.
Yeah, and then I love it when he gets that realization that the Dalek can't do anything, and he gets really cocky and overconfident again.
Yes.
And
And it's
just starts beating him.
I was gonna say it's the first time we saw a Dalek point of view, but no, we've seen that in the Elder show. But it was cool to see a new design, a look
Yeah.
of the Dalek. Um, yeah, all around storyline.
I wish this was a two-parter.
It
To be
should have been.
honest,
It should have been.
get rid
Um,
of the slitheen.
of course. Um, it should have been. They had much more room to play if it was a two-parter. Um, and made the Sylvine a one episode. I can't believe people are buying toys of that thing. I hate that alien. I
I suppose
hate
if you're
it.
a completionist.
Yeah, I just hate the Slovene. Oh God, they look just so ugly. E.T. Fat, bubbly E.T. creatures. Anyway, we're talking Dalek, which is superior. Um, at least in my mind, I thought it was great. Yeah, I like it a lot. I love the communication between Rose and the Dalek at the end. Her realization of what it really is, um, and yeah, what else? Do I have anything else to say about it? We 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 saw some modern day special effects of what the Dalek, how they can kill people, and you get the skull, the skeleton effects.
Oh, I love it. I love it. When he kills that entire room of people.
Yeah,
That I think that was brilliant.
yeah, yeah. And
It made
then
it. It definitely made the Dalek scary. One guy just
it
wiped out
did.
an
It
entire room.
that episode alone really made the Daleks a little more. I mean, for its modern day, for 2005, 2004, yeah, it brought them back as like, okay, yeah, there's only one here, and it's doing all that havoc, and yeah, now I know why the Doctor is so feared, and again, I don't know if do they bring up the Time War or do they just bring up the war? I don't
I think it
remember.
was just referred to as a
You shouldn't
war.
be here. You shouldn't be here. You should be.
Because I think that at that point, that's when I think that's when they acknowledged that Time Lords were fighting Daleks, but very briefly,
Mhm.
because he's like, yeah, why don't you go ahead and scan the universe? How many are left? And the Daleks like none.
I am alone.
So I think at that point the idea is one Doctor, one Dalek,
Yeah,
um, all that's left of the Time War.
yeah, yeah.
Because I think the Time War becomes I don't know if it becomes a reference in the series finale, but I know it becomes referenced in series two.
Wow, I don't even think it is referenced in the finale because he's with
So
all the Daleks, and other than him mentioning to Captain Jack, and even Jack mentioning that they're not supposed to be here. What are they
yeah,
doing here? Anyway, I'm. Go ahead.
no,
Or
I'm
are we done? I'm done with that episode.
all I have to say is I liked Adam in this episode.
Yeah,
I liked him in this episode. He had potential. That's potential. That's all he had.
and I like the Dalek special effects. I'll say that. I
Uh,
like even the eye googly creature.
oh,
I thought it
I
was
think one of my favorite Dalek moments of like the whole series in general, because I've seen I think every Dalek episode minus um the ones from the John Pertwee era. I've seen five,
yeah,
six, and sevens.
yeah,
Uh, it is when the Dalek looks up at the camera and says to the Doctor, "You would make a good Dalek."
yes, yes.
That has got to be one of my favorite Dalek moments,
Great line, and
just because
it's in my remote control Dalek. He does say that.
I just love it because the Doctor's just like no, and I think with Eccleston's acting in his face, you can see where the Doctor's like, oh shit, I probably could be. I
Yeah.
probably could be a
Yeah.
Dalek.
Well, one of my favorite parts of the whole new season series is it is a Tennant episode. It's the one with Davros. I believe
Oh yeah,
it might be at the end of Stolen Earth, maybe. I can't think
it's
of the
either
name of it.
Stolen Earth and Journey's End are the two
And Journey's
episodes.
End, where he's like, "You are just as evil as I am," and that whole speech that Davros gives him is when I heard that, I was floored. That's amazing. That, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
But yeah, no. So I think it was a really good episode. I just wish it was a two-parter.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um,
Up next.
Good point to pause right here because I want to get a drink.
All right.
And I'm gonna bring a buddy over.
All right.
I'll
buddy.
edit this.
Is it your editor?
Edit this. So this
Is it
will
your
not
editor?
be on right now. Get yourself a new soda if you need one.
Oh, I'm good, I think. Oh yes.
You recognize it. Look at this sucker.
Oh, he's huge. He kind of reminds me of those old R2D2. My uncle has an R2D2 one that moves around and does all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So
Hold on, I got him on the wrong setting. I don't want him to go rolling off the table. Where is he? Here he is.
I got my Sonic.
We are the supreme beings.
All right. We're back on. I'm just going to do a weird little dissolve.
Dissolve.
Dissolve. What does he have to say?
You will make a good Dalek.
There you go.
There we are.
You would make a good Dalek.
All
That's
right.
a very bad Dalek voice.
What's the next episode? Is it Boomtown?
Long game.
Long Game is...
The one with what's his name? Simon Pegg as the editor.
Oh, with the editor. The space station from The End of the World.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's okay.
Wait,
That's all I
wait.
have to say.
We're going to start it up again because we just took a break. I'll go to me. And we're back on. Hey, everybody. I just thought I'd bring on a friend here.
The little buddy.
I must exterminate all other life forms.
So he'll be joining us through the rest of the episode.
I need orders.
No orders today, Dalek.
I obey.
Okay. Next episode is The Long Game. Simon Pegg plays an editor, or is he
Yeah,
the
he's
producer of the show?
he's called the editor. At least that's what his credits are. He's just called
And
the editor.
this isn't the one where the doctor's brought into the Big Brother house, is it?
No, no. This is the one where Adam just joined, and he goes to go get all the information he can receive.
Okay.
And then Rose and the doctor are trying to figure out what's wrong with society for whatever reason, because everybody wants to go to the golden room or the top floor, and only a select group of people can go up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they witness one of the I don't even know what it's called, but where everybody sits around on the chair, and then
Oh, and the
you got the one
foreheads. The foreheads open up. Yeah.
yeah. It's
Isn't there
pretty.
isn't
What?
there a character near the end that becomes a pseudo companion, and then
Yeah.
the doctor leaves him off somewhere? Wow,
No, that's Adam,
why don't
that
I
was Adam.
remember this episode that much?
because it's not that special. It's just kind of. It's not a. The thing is, it's not a bad episode, but it's not a good episode. It just kind of exists, and that's it.
Yeah,
Especially coming right off of Dalek, which is an amazing episode.
yeah. And Simon Pegg, who, fresh off of Shaun of the Dead, I believe at that
It's
time.
amazing.
Everybody loves him, and he, even his part wasn't that great, was it?
No, and then the enemy is a CGI blob on the ceiling.
Oh, that's right. It was pretty much the opposite of the Auton at the beginning, the first episode.
Yeah.
Not the Auton, but
The Nesting Conscience.
yes.
But I don't know. Yeah, no. So it's just kind of it exists. That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I have. Hold on, I'm organizing my dollar.
Actually, I do have a couple things. There is a because at the end of the episode, the doctor's pissed off at Adam for doing what he does to himself, and then try to record the information of the future onto his recording machine at home, the answering machine, and the doctor gets.
That's
pissed
right.
off.
That's why he leaves him there. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, this is kind of a spoiler, but there's a comic by IDW called Prisoners of Time,
Hmm.
and it's one of the Doctor's companions who's been picking up the Doctor's other companions through all of time and space, and basically collecting them because he's pissed off at the Doctor. And once again, spoiler alert, at the end of it, you find out that it's Adam because he's pissed off that he made one mistake while his companions have made numerous mistakes. He made one mistake, and the Doctor left him stranded.
Yeah.
So it's a really good comic.
It might be a good comic, but I really don't remember much of the. I don't remember liking much of the episode.
Yeah, and it's like, do you remember hating the episode, though?
Not hating it, just disappointed by it.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I
just-
said, I loved Simon Pegg, and it was before he was overblown in Star Trek and all these other things. And Shaun of the Dead, it was like, oh my God, Simon Pegg is. And then I went back and I watched Spaced, which was the original Edgar Wright television series with him and Nick Frost. And I was like, he's going to be in Doctor Who. That's going to be great. And I felt very disappointed with it. It felt very disjointed. It felt very weird that this television station was broadcasting and it was a whole alien type thing. And yeah, I didn't care for it. I didn't care for it at all.
But,
Which the next one, Father's Day, I believe that's the next one,
yep. It's,
made up for it for me. I mean, I I really enjoyed Father's Day. One, because I love when time travel stories coincide with others. And there was that scene where Rose wants to go back to save her father, and it doesn't happen because she's pretty freaked out by it. And then she wants to go back again, and they're in front of her. And it's the old you can't join time stream. You can't. I mean, the whole episode has all that stuff in it. The whole stuff in the church with the young baby Rose, and yeah, I see. I'm doing this. You know what that means? Bad CGI. Bad
Yeah,
CGI.
the Reapers.
The Reapers are. Oh, they're just 90s CGI garbage, and they have such a great meaning in the story. Um, and I love the stuff with the dad in the church and seeing the car go around, and then him realizing what has to be done. And I mean, there's so much I love about that episode, and there's so much I cringe at it.
You know,
Um,
I think the thing that bothers me the most with this episode is the Reapers themselves, and it's not because they're great creatures,
mhm.
but they never appear again.
Yeah.
And there are some very contradictory scenes later on in the series where
Sure. Oh yeah, yeah, and they're never
the
there.
characters
Yeah.
touch two people touch each other, the same person, one from the past, one from the future, uh, and nothing ever happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
it's kind of yeah. What was the point? I mean, contradictory. What's the word I'm looking for? Contradictory history of the
yeah,
show or character history
continuity.
continuity. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. So, I love those creatures. They were great in that episode. It's just kind of wish they would show up more.
Yeah, and it has a great,
Um,
very touching ending. I really do like the ending of it. Like I said, I have no other than the CGI. I have no issues with the story itself. I think it's a great story. I just wish it was able to be handled better. Um,
um, well, what I find is interesting is because Rose and the Doctor have that kind of a fight.
mhm,
Um, and he storms off back to the TARDIS, and she goes to uh, whoever's wedding it was with her dad,
mhm.
and and then the Doctor goes to his TARDIS and realizes that, oh wait, you can't go in there. It's gone. The paradox has happened,
Yeah,
and he goes running back, and she's like, I knew you wouldn't leave me, and he's like, I know, I wouldn't leave you, and I'm like,
yeah.
you lying
That's
piece of you were about to leave her. You
yeah,
were about to ditch.
yeah.
You never
That
even saw her
whole
again.
that whole boyfriend girlfriend thing. It's like, but hey,
If
what
I
are you
was him,
gonna
I
do?
would have left her. To be honest.
Can we also talk about? I don't have it anywhere near, but we've talked about it in the past. Um, I don't like how they changed the Doctor's TARDIS key. Um, I like how in the classic series it was a created thing. There was that weird
Yeah.
spade-like thing with the cross. It wasn't just a key that you turned in, and it seems like from now on, that's all it is. And I really wish they, as clever as they are, make the TARDIS key something totally different than just a regular key. You know, but that's just
Um,
me. That's just me.
it's kind of a side-ish track. Have you seen Torchwood?
Yeah.
Um, Going back to Aliens of London, Uh, the Japanese lady from Torchwood is in that episode
Mhm.
as her character.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention. I was going to mention that when we were talking about it, but we hated the episode so much that I kind of forgot. I just wanted to throw that out there.
That was
I
the
thought that was
first.
kind of cool.
Now, was that the first episode that mentioned Torchwood?
No, that's mentioned later on in the series at the end.
Okay, near the end. I know there's a couple episodes that talk about him, just in fleeting. But anyway, go ahead.
But no, I just wanted to bring that up because you said the TARDIS key, and I was remembering when the Doctor gives Rose the key, and then he right after that he went and saw the lady in the space pig thing.
Yeah.
And then the episode went to shit after that. Anyway, but yeah, no, Father's Day is a really good episode. Right next to Dalek for singles, and I do wonder whether this would be any better as a two-parter.
I don't know for a two-parter. I thought it welcomed its stay for what it did. And we got the two-parter next with Are You My Mummy? Mommy, which is probably the first time.
This is Moffat's first episode.
Probably in the first time for me that I felt Doctor Who really, as a show, got scary. Dalek was its own little thing, but this, with these lost children, are you my mommy? Reaching in through the mailbox thing, and then the disease where the mask forms on the person's face. I really was like, wow, they're going to some weird, dark places here now.
They are going to the classic hide behind the couch for comfort.
Yes. Yeah, especially for children. Especially if you're talking about classic Who, which did that for children. Children were scared of the Daleks. And,
Orders received.
the Dalek is just a guy with a plunger. And but to have children, which they can totally relate to, have some weird mask, abandoned, looking for their mommy, or looking for some kind of comfort, and people being afraid of them.
And set during World War II.
Exactly. That whole thing. And then adults taking on the whole thing. I mean, that is hide behind your couch type of horror, especially for the young viewers. I really enjoyed both seasons. Of course, it was the introduction of Captain Jack, which I loved.
Really character. Oh my gosh.
I loved his introduction. I love that he's a
time agent.
Agent. I was thinking of the word time agent, which we find out later what that is, because he's really not a time agent, is he? He's kind of on his own. I love that he has his own little ship with his cloaking device that's parked up by Big Ben, and that he loves every species, which we find out much later. Every species, every human. No, I really. I'm looking at both of the episodes. I'm thinking of both episodes, and I love the competition between him and the Doctor, and him always commenting that you only have a screwdriver. That whole stuff, the relationship with Rose. The only thing I love the ending. I love the ending. Everybody lives. I love that the Doctor breaks you know, the thing, the thing. Um, but I have a problem with the cliffhanger, the resolvement. I don't like how he just says go to your room and they all leave. I cringe at that. Um, but but it's okay.
Yeah.
And there's your phone. All
I'm
right.
gonna shut the door real quick so that way it doesn't.
All right. All right.
Superior Dalek multi-spectrum scanning now engaged.
There, hopefully that'll cut out some sound.
This unit has identified the Doctor. Binary cardiovascular system detected.
All right. All right. Tell us about. Are you my mommy? What'd you think?
Uh, well, generally speaking, I think this is just the definitive Ninth Doctor episode.
Yep.
Or at least in terms of like, with what my friends have said about Doctor Who, I honestly do think that this is when people think of the Ninth Doctor, it's "Are You My Mummy?" and Captain Jack's introduction, and World War II. But like you said, it's such a dark episode, which is interesting because it ends on such a light note.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying to think of one of the episodes in the series where it was really light, but ended on a dark note.
Well, that was the Scarecrow one, where he.
Yeah.
I would say that's the darkest the Doctor's ever gotten, where he sentences those characters to X amount of years hanging from whatever, and I can't think of it because it's been so long since I've seen it, but I know there were those Scarecrow things in it.
But yeah, there really isn't much to add to this to the discussion of this episode, because I think that everything has been said about it because it's such an I think well received episode.
Yeah.
It's really hard to add to that discussion.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Being that we were introduced to a new character, which we knew nothing about, Captain Jack, and then he just disappears at the end, saving the day. What did you think of him? Did you think he'd be back? Did you think he was just a character that they created and it's another character the Doctor comes across?
Interestingly enough, my sister, when she first saw this, because she started right at 9. Actually, no, she started at 11 and watched, I think, a season and a half that was out at the time, and then Series 6 had that split. But then she was like, "So is there an older show, or is there like anywhere we could watch the previous stuff?" And at the time, it was on Netflix, and so I had her watch this, and she did not like Captain Jack to begin with. She thought he was such a dorky character.
Really?
And keep in mind, my sister at the time was like in 5th grade, maybe.
Okay.
5th or 6th. So right around the time for kids, roughly that age, and she just did not like Jack. Rewatching it, she absolutely loves Jack now, but witnessing him for the first time, she really didn't like him, and I think it was because he's such a negative Nancy towards the Doctor.
Yeah.
He gives so much sass and tries to like up him. I think that's why she didn't like him. And I'm over here like, this is amazing. Let's
Oh
put the
yeah,
doctor in
no,
his place.
I thought it was great seeing
Um,
somebody else put the doctor in his place, and not so much knowing who he is, but kind of seeing him on eye to eye,
yeah,
and you know,
and it's really weird. Fast forwarding into Torchwood, uh, watching that first series, because every time he mentions the doctor, at the time now David Tennant's the doctor,
right.
but every time he mentions the doctor, he hasn't seen number 10 yet. He's only met 9.
And he has the hand.
But yeah, he has the hand of 10.
Yeah.
Uh, so I get a kind of kick because every time he mentions it, I always think of number 10, but I'm reminding myself, he's not thinking of a guy in a suit. He's thinking of this badass in a leather jacket.
Yeah.
So, but I really wish Jack would come back, at least for Moffat's final era.
There's talk of another series, a Torchwood series coming back, but
I would love that too.
there is nothing that I've heard of him returning to Who, which is sad, especially after Children of Earth. Is it Children of Earth?
No, his last was Miracle Day.
Oh, Miracle. Oh, I hated Miracle Day. Children of Earth, I loved.
Had Miracle Day be like 5 episodes, like Children of Earth was.
Yeah, they dragged it out way too long. But I loved the ending. I loved how he
Yes.
just took off. And he's like, no, I'm done. I can't do anything. I'm gone. I love that aspect of it.
However, I do think there is a slight chance because I know he wants to return to the role. He'd do it in a heartbeat because on Facebook he's got his own channel.
Yeah.
Like he actually runs it himself, and he does live videos all the time, and he's so funny. But and actually, there's a really funny one where he was watching the first episode of Torchwood with his dog, and he kept being like, "Ooh, what's gonna happen next?" Of course, he knows what's happening next. But
John Barrowman we're talking about.
John Barrowman, yes, he's such a lovely actor.
Yeah. Oh, he's great.
There's a bit of me that wishes like I wish he would have just like showed up way earlier in the first series.
Earlier than the Dalek one? Or
no, like, I
earlier
wish
than this one?
Instead of Adam, I wish it was just because I don't think Adam does much for the show.
Yeah.
He's that 2-episode companion.
Yeah.
If it was Jack instead, we had Jack for half the series. I think it would have been great.
See, I just kind of like the way it all played out. I like how, in this and the Doctor's dances, he just kind of showed up and, as the series goes on, we're kind of learning more about who he is. I don't know. I kind of like it. I like how he comes back at the end to fight with the Daleks and then get killed, supposedly, and then to find out mid-season with Torchwood that he's immortal and that doesn't mean a damn thing, And then jumping ahead, I love the whole master thing where they just keep killing him over and over and over again, and he keeps coming back. Anyway, we'll see.
But I think Jack. I like a lot of the male character or male companions in Doctor Who a bit more.
Yeah.
Just because they're not there that much, like Jack
Oh.
or Ian. Ian Chesterton. What's the one with the fourth Doctor?
Harry, I think.
I don't know his last name.
I don't know his last name either. He
So
started
Harry
out at the
Sullivan?
beginning with Baker. Harry, I believe.
But Harry, I really liked.
Who was the alien with Colin? Was it Colin Baker or was it with Peter Davison?
Oh, it was the Chameleon.
The chameleon? No, the chameleon
No.
was a robot guy that didn't work. But there was a blonde like alien guy. There was a whole episode with the Brigadier, where there were like 2 or 3 brigadiers. He was in that episode. He started out being an evil villain, and then he ended up actually being a good companion.
Yeah,
Can't
I know
think
who
of
you're
his,
talking about.
yeah, I can't think of his name though.
Um,
Anyway, yeah, you're right. The Doctor doesn't have too many male companions.
and I really like Rory. I don't know what the
Oh,
general,
Rory, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll get into that.
but that's why I was hoping for Capaldi's next companion. I was really shooting for a male,
Yeah,
especially a young male, just to see the the interaction. I think would have been amazing.
well, there was a lot of people hoping that who's the girl that was in the Robin Hood episode
Oh,
who came back, who became immortal,
yeah,
that she was going to be a new companion, and I think she's on Game of Thrones, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. I don't really like her that much, but that's just me.
Really? Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but yeah, it would be kind of cool just to see another. People don't like. Put it to me. People don't like the Doctor, the classic series Doctor, when he had all these companions. He had Tegan. He had the alien one, which I can't think of his name. Um, they had who was the stewardess, or is that Tegan? Um,
yeah, you thinking just the fourth Doctor,
Nissa,
or
Nissa, Nissa. No, no, this is in the Davison Barker.
oh, with Adric?
Adric, yeah, Adric,
Yeah,
Adric. Yeah, I mean
like
there
that.
was like 4 companions on the TARDIS at one point, and people didn't like that, and I do like that. I really kind of, Stolen Earth and what was the
Journey's End.
Journey's End. People seem to hate that episode, and I really like how they got Donna and Captain Jack and everybody around the TARDIS all flying it, because the TARDIS is normally flown by a whole bunch of Time Lords, and I thought that was really, really cool. People seem to just want one, and you know,
Well, no, I would love to have more than one, but like for the next companion, I really was hoping we just get a guy in.
yeah.
Um, but oh well.
Anyway, we sidetracked. What's after the Boomtown? Here's Boomtown.
Slitheen.
Slovenes are back with old fat lady running around. What can I say about this episode? The doctor. The conversation in the restaurant was kind of cool. That's about it.
Oh, I like it when he's in the office or whatever, and he looks up and he sees that written "Bad Wolf" written on the wall. Which,
Oh,
interestingly enough,
we
we
didn't
haven't
even
even talked
talk about the
that.
Bad Wolf stuff. Yeah, yeah. Go
But
ahead.
there really isn't much to say on it until the end.
Yeah, but it's there
But
throughout
he
the
looks up
series.
and he says whatever it is in whatever language, and Rose is like, "What does that mean?" And he's like, "Bad Wolf. They've been following us around." And she's like, what do you think it means?" I don't know. It was probably a coincidence. He just shrugs it off to the side, like, whatever.
Yeah. But that actually was throughout most of the series. I mean, there was the graffiti on the side of the TARDIS. There was the graffiti on the ground.
And in the end, Quiet Dead, um, that Maiden makes reference to Rose that Bad Wolf is following her.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been around throughout the season. Davis had a plan, had a master plan there. Uh, Boomtown. The only thing I would say that was memorable about that episode was the the location of Torchwood. You know, being in the Millennium Plaza with the giant water tower, which you stand in front of it, you go down to Torchwood, you know, which we find out later.
Yeah. Of
But
course, yeah, you have to keep in mind that during that episode, I don't know if it's a book or an audio. I can't remember. I only read it because I haven't looked into Torchwood much outside the show. But there's a point where during that day, Jack had to keep his entire crew inside in fear of a paradox because the other Jack was running around up there.
Wow, that's cool.
So at that point, we already know that Torchwood 4 or 3 or whichever one he is already been located.
Other than the episode that Martha Jones appears in, which is in the next season, Torchwood behind, I call it Torchwood with the glass encasement.
Yeah.
The office building. We know Torchwood was before then. We know Torchwood was before Millennium Park because the Queen in the Wolf episode, we're jumping around, had created Torchwood. Who's to say where Torchwood was before Millennium Park? Or were they there most of the time?
Well, I'm trying to think back because there's an episode in Torchwood itself, and I think this is in series 2 of Torchwood, towards the end, because it's when everybody gets crushed by that building.
Yeah.
And it's going through how all the characters became part of Torchwood itself.
Right.
In the episode. And Jack was recruited by these 2 females, and in 1999, New Year's Eve takes place same time as the Doctor Who movie. He finds his people dead, and I believe it's the same Torchwood base that's in the Millennium.
Okay.
So
wow.
I think from the interior, because there is 4 different Torchwood societies.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. All right, where are we next?
The finale.
The 2-parter. Okay. Daleks are back. Daleks, although we didn't know until the very end, this is the one where the Doctor's on Big Brother, and Rose is in Goodbye. The weakest link.
Which, by the way, is the first reference to Torchwood. Because it's one of the answers to the questions.
That's right. There it comes again. Yes.
And a little trivia. We were supposed to bring this up way earlier. When Doctor Who went into production, its secret name was Torchwood at the time.
Sure. It's an anagram, isn't it? Or
yes.
Whatever they call that. Yeah.
It was under production, so that way people didn't know that Doctor Who was actually going into fruition.
Yeah, I did hear
under the
about
off chance that it failed.
Yeah.
They just called it Torchwood. And then when they're like, okay, we're doing this, we got some stuff filmed, people are going to find out. Let's let everybody know we're doing Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. But Torchwood was the case name for the show.
Yeah.
Prior to its return.
I really do like this 2-parter ending. I don't have much to say about it other than it, at the time that it came out, I was very surprised that they used Big Brother, Weakest Link as a storyline, because they were such popular shows at that time. And it just brought a smile to my face that here's the Doctor. He's stuck with these people in this little apartment. It's like, oh, you're going? Okay. Oh my God, they kill you. It's like, no, I'm going. We got to talk about Eccleston before we leave. His portrayal of the Doctor. Fantastic.
I do want to bring up the pseudo companion, Linda with a Y,
Yes.
who would have been a companion had events not happened.
You think, or did you read
No,
that?
no, because he said that when they're looking for Rose, the doctor's like, "I'm gonna take you with me."
Ah,
He
okay.
does tell her, but she never
Forgot
gets to
about
live
that.
to tell the tale
Okay.
because she gets killed by Daleks breaking glass.
That's right. That's right. That's right. First time we see the Daleks floating around in outer space and floating around. Yeah, no, no, we see it in Dalek that the Dalek can levitate over the
Up the
stairs.
stairs.
Well, that was a McCoy episode.
I was gonna say it wasn't because everybody makes reference to Dalek being the first time Daleks can float, but
No, there
I
was the
thought in that
McCoy.
school that they're
Yeah,
in that little basement and went up the stairs.
yeah, there was the McCoy episode. Yeah, we got to go back and talk more old Doctor
Classic.
because I got some questions for you. Anyway, yeah, no, I like this two-parter. I love the return of Captain Jack. I love what do I love? I just think it's great. The the stuff with Rose at the end and the looking into the TARDIS, although that wasn't the end, but and then trying to pull the thing open at the end with Mickey and her mom. I just thought it really brought it home. I should be on me. I thought it brought it all home as a okay. Here's a television series for the family. We're not just on one character and another character and this and we're going off. It made this big swing around and it's like okay now it's a family show again. Even though you're only talking two characters. Uh, I I I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I couldn't wait for next season. Um, the whole again the doctor just giving his speech to the Daleks, saying, "I'm coming for her."
You know,
You know,
when I first saw that episode, the ending episode where he's ready to let that a bomb go off or whatever it was,
yeah,
there's a bit of me when I first saw it, knowing I had already seen Tenet, knowing that he would live.
oh
But
yeah,
there was a
you
bit of
already
me,
saw it. Yeah, yeah,
but there was a bit of me that was like, I think he's actually gonna do it. Like he was legitly considering,
yeah,
and I think he would have done it had the Supreme Dalek not spoken. I think he would have done it.
yeah,
But then the Supreme Dalek spoke, and then he started second guessing.
yeah, yeah.
But there's a bit of me where I was like, he's doing it. He's doing it.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And then I was going to say, when he does regenerate in the final episode, because I honestly did not know how many seasons the Ninth Doctor had. I didn't know at what point David Tennant became the Doctor.
Hmm.
I was really surprised when he regenerated. I was like, is this really happening?
That's cool.
As he looks down and he's like, the process has already started.
Yeah.
And
Were you
then he goes,
disappointed
no, well, yeah.
when you saw Tennant? You knew who he was, though.
Yeah.
To me, and most viewers who were watching it, as it happened. To me, I was like, "Who's this scrawny little skinny guy? Who's this guy?"
And to me, I already knew where the show was going after that. I
Yeah.
still needed to see some episodes.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see the first few episodes of series 2. I saw like the back half.
Hmm.
But by that point, I knew where it was going. But I was really disappointed because I was like,
Spoilers.
that's it? No more 9?
Yeah.
That's not enough.
See, as a first viewer, by the second, third episode, we already knew he was done.
Yeah,
And
but
it was kind of like, okay, we don't know who's coming next, but we know he's going to regenerate at the end of this season. You know.
but
Yeah. Very sad. Still, rewatching it again, it was still very sad because, like I said, we want to talk about Eccleston. I'd like to bring him up. Bring him up. We're talking about him. I he is such a different, unique character to be the Doctor. He seems to fit perfectly in the 90s culture, 90s, 2000, early 2000 culture. Especially after He McGann had the Pertwee outfit. He had the red velvet old style costume and the long hair, and all of a sudden we see this new doctor, and this new doctor's in this leather jacket and jeans, and he's, Rose, run for your life, and I'm standing on the world, I can feel it moving faster than you could ever, and his key word, if you have to give every doctor a saying or a trope, it was fantastic. Fantastic. He would always say that, and it was just such a different doctor, but it was acceptable, at least to me, watching the show, knowing the classic Who, that we need somebody different like this. We need somebody in your face, somebody who is who is speaking his mind as frankly and as seriously as possible. And when the fear would come, the fear was there, but it wasn't a scary fear. It was, and there was a there was a slight romance there, even though there wasn't a bond, a real bond between Rose and the Doctor. There in a way was, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Not romantically, but there still was that cherishing, that care there. And especially at the end, he's like, "You looked into the heart of the TARDIS." You can't. It. And then he knew the relationship with Ricky, not Mickey, Ricky. My name's Ricky. No, it's Ricky. He knew, and he played around with that, and the mom stuff, but it was fleeting. It was fleeting. It was out there, and it was that final scene where he's like, "I'm going to change. It's time," and he does the old, the pose, which we've never seen before in any Doctor Who classic. He would just change. But here now was the arms out, the head back, the glowingness. And then David Tennant pops in. And what does he say? He mentioned some planet they were talking about going to or something.
he's like, he's like, hello, new teeth. That's weird.
Well, he does
Where
the
was I?
nukes. Go ahead, I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, Barcelona.
Barcelona, yeah. Yeah, new teeth. No, it was like, as a classic fan, it was expected, at least from me, being that I knew he was going to change at the end. As a fan of Doctor Who that you were, not knowing he was going to change, I'm sure it was a shock. But I always, throughout the entire series, throughout even the classic Who, the most that I look forward to is the reaction of the companion to the new Doctor. How they're going to take him, how they're going to accept him. I find that very entertaining. And when you see Rose giving almost her life, basically, for the Eccleston Doctor, and then there's this new person that just shows up. Like I said, by the Christmas episode, where he's in bed most of the time, and he has no power, for her to see, for the viewers to see her fight, to protect him from the spinning Christmas trees and all that. It was. Go ahead, Cam. I'm on my tirade. Go ahead.
It's okay. You've seen the Children's in Need special?
Which one? Which one?
The one with 10 just regenerating.
I've seen all of them. I've seen the proms. I don't know which one you're talking about.
It's the one right after he regenerates. And then there's that quick scene between him and Rose and her somewhat adjusting, and he's about to go to Barcelona. It's on the UK Blu-ray set.
No, I have not seen that. I have not.
Okay, you do have the UK Blu-ray set.
So that takes place before the Christmas episode.
Yeah, just before.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's really fun because David Tennant's in the Ninth Doctor's outfit still.
Yeah. No, I have not seen that.
You got to give it a watch.
Okay. Again, like I said, I have all the BBC. I imported all the seasons, but I have not imported the Eccleston season, so that extra is not on there.
No, it's on the series 2.
Oh, it's on series 2.
Yes, it'll be on the series 2 disc.
Well, I haven't even started. I just watched the Christmas episode, so okay.
All right, yeah, it should be on that. It should be on the first disc, because I checked it out to make sure it was on there.
Okay, I will check it out.
But,
again, like we talked way at the beginning, why don't they put these in consecutive order? Just hit play all and play them in the order.
But
So your take on Eccleston throughout the series as a doctor?
As I was rewatching it for the first time like a year ago, and then I decided to stop and just rewatch again with my girlfriend who wanted to watch the show a second time. Because I got to like series 3, and then she's like, well, I kind of want to restart the show. Because she'd only seen it once previously. And I was like, I'm just going to stop. I'll just rewatch it with her. It'd be kind of fun to see her as she reacts to some of the stuff. Mm-hmm. And upon the first time watching it alone, I wasn't satisfied with the Ninth Doctor. Because the first, 5-ish episodes, all the way through the Slovene, it was just kind of a guy making quips.
Okay.
In a sense. The first one, it's just kind of mysterious. The second one, you're just kind of with him, and he's trying to save the day, but he's making quips. I'm your biggest fan. No, not that kind of a fan, but like a person who admires. And then it's up until the end where I'm like, my final thought was he wasn't developed that much. And I wonder if that's just because in production, right when they started, he's like, I'm not doing another season. And so maybe that's when they're just like, well, we're not going to spend too much time developing the character. We're just going to develop the show, get a basis. Granted, I absolutely love the Ninth Doctor. It's just he seems underdeveloped.
Yeah.
Especially in comparison to all the new Doctors. Even the War Doctor kind of is a little more developed than he was.
How do you feel about Paul McGann next to him, being that he only had one 2-hour movie?
The movie, he is underdeveloped. The audios, which I've listened to the countless audios of his, he's amazing in it. But On screen time, screen wise, he's underdeveloped. But and not to mention his beginning is he doesn't even know who he is anymore.
Yeah.
He's like, "Who am I?" And he's just in the hospital shouting, "Who am I?" And then he's trying to help Grace figure out who he is, and she has no clue. She thinks he's freaking off his knockers.
So let me ask you this then. Do you think it's a fault of the writers, of the producer? Do you think Davies wanted to bring the series back and create a persona, but didn't concentrate that much on the character?
I think so because I think later on we see that love stuff between Ten and Rose,
Mm-hmm.
and then we get that from Martha to the Doctor, but Doctor doesn't have it back to Martha.
Right, right.
And finally we get Doctor and Donna, which there is no romantic interest.
No. But there's that love there by the end.
Yeah. So and I think that's just part of Russell T Davies, and I know Christopher Eccleston didn't want he didn't want to be kissing Billie Piper.
Yeah.
Because she's 19 and he's like 40. So,
Well, that would have mixed in weird anyway, because the Doctor doesn't kiss his companions. You know?
yeah. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I think he was really underdeveloped in comparison, especially to the new Doctors.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, with the War Doctor, even though the War Doctor happened because Eccleston did not want to return, the War Doctor has had more development than he does.
Wow.
So
yeah, I kind of agree there.
because he's got a history.
Yeah. Well, it's a history that you envision. You know?
Yeah.
And you can see that actor as the War Doctor dealing with all that war, all that stuff with the Daleks. It really is a shame that Eccleston didn't come back at least for the McGann short where he was rejuvenating.
Yeah.
They just kind of like implied his ears were getting bigger in the CGI. It would have been nice to just see the full Eccleston and then him at the TARDIS saying, "Fantastic," or something like that, you know?
But
But it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And there's comics, and there's, well, I don't know
Yeah.
if there's big finishes, but there,
no, because Eccleston probably will never do them.
no. Well, there's talk he'll never ever come back.
But novels, and I wanted to show up. I do have a Ninth Doctor comic here.
There you go. Oh, and hardcover.
Yes, hardcover. And this features the Doctor, Rose, and Jack.
Jack.
And I'm assuming this takes place right after the what's that episode now? The Empty Child and Doctor Dances.
Right.
Because that's logically that seems like the only place it would even fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and the Doctor's amazing in that.
I'm trying to think now. Even in the 50th anniversary special, did they even show a clip of him? You know, like on the big monitor screens, they showed all the doctors. Did they even show a clip of Eccles?
They showed a clip. It's a reused clip from the first series. And if I were to watch the first series, I could actually point it out. I can't remember where it's at now.
Okay, but they did show him.
But yeah, he's standing at the TARDIS and he's like, "Here we go," and then pushes his lever, and it's taken directly out of the first. Of course, all those shots are taken out of the
sure.
half.
Yeah.
But I would be able to pinpoint it if I saw it in an instant.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all they used.
Wow. Well, you know, at least they used that. At least they got all of them in there. I mean, you're asking a big deal to have Clara go up to Hartnell and say, "Take this TARDIS." You know, I mean, that alone was Oh my God! Well, when we get there, but that alone was, oh my God! You're starting the show like this. This is amazing. And then the passing each other and her standing there and them running by her and it was gosh, we talked about that last time we gushed. I gushed about the series anniversary. But anyway, put it on me. Yeah, so there we got our viewpoints in. Everybody, hopefully you people are watching, Doctor Who fans. This is our take on the first season, the return of Doctor Who, 2003, 2004, 2005, somewhere in there. The Russell T. Davies, the Christopher Eccleston season, which was really great to revisit. And in my opinion, I think Eccleston made a pretty decent Doctor. True, I wish he had more stories. I wish he hung around a little more. He didn't, but that is what it is. We will be moving on to David Tennant, who is very, very close to my second favorite Doctor of all time. I mean, if you know me, you know Tom Baker is my favorite. But my God, David Tennant took the reins and he is amazing. He is amazing. That's all for me. Cameron, any final words you want to do about the final or the first season of Doctor Who, Eccleston?
All in all, even after my complaints of the underdeveloped Doctor, I will have to go and say it's got to be like my third or fourth favorite series of the new series, because I think it is the most concise. Minus really the only bad episodes are
CGI
Slovenes.
problemized.
But even with Boomtown, I think there's still some good stuff that comes out of it. Questioning the Doctor's motives to just run away every time he fixes the problem, never dealing with the resolution.
Yeah.
There's some good aspects in that one, but otherwise, I think it's a well-rounded series, and I think it's really hard to compete to it because it kicked off the show.
I was going to say, do you think it was a very compatible or a very acceptable return of the Doctor character?
What I would have liked to see now, this would never work. But for that first series, just kind of keeping him off into the background and having the companion discover who this guy is, and we would be seeing it from the companion's point of view, or at least for the first couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Kind of keeping him in the background, and then once he makes his big appearance, he has the full reins of the show.
That's pretty damn clever. I think that is a cool way they should have done it.
But like I said, I mean, if they knew it was going to be successful, I think they'd go for it.
Yeah,
but not knowing, I mean that's how I would have loved to see it.
Have you seen the Colin Baker Stranger series?
No.
The movies that he did or the series he did as The Stranger, which is supposed to have taken place between the regenerations, where he's very dark, very. Look it up on Wikipedia when you get a chance. The Stranger series with Colin Baker.
All right.
I believe there's maybe 6. I'm calling them movies. Maybe they're episodes. I'm not sure. But I came across them one time, and I thought they were really cool. They never mentioned Doctor. They never mentioned who. He's the Stranger. But anyway.
One last funny note. There is a song done by Catherine Tate, John Barrowman, and David Tennant called "The Ballad of Russell and Juliet."
Oh wow, I never heard of
Um,
that.
and it's basically a funny commentary of them of Russell T Davies and Juliet. I never remember her last name. Who was the other producer of the show?
Yes.
A funny commentary of them trying to restart the show, and Russell T Davies is negative against it. He doesn't want to do it, but Juliet's got all these great ideas. It's really funny. So I will definitely try to leave a link in mine, and Roger, I'll send it to you right after this.
Sure.
Uh, but yeah, I think we covered the majority of the ground. I do want to say the original DVD box set for this is amazing, or at least the UK one, because it's actually like a TARDIS.
Oh wow, is it?
Yeah, it's all blocky. It's really it's kind of huge.
Wait, you're talking
The UK one.
the Eccleston series?
Yeah, the first series.
I thought it was just like a clamshell.
No, I'm talking strictly the UK DVD. It was like a special edition.
Oh, okay, DVD. Okay,
I've seen it in a very few Doctor Who collection videos.
okay.
But because usually when people do the Doctor Who collection, they only cover the classic, and then they'll be like, "Well, here's the new series." They don't ever touch that.
Yeah,
But it's only like, "Here's the new series." Every once in a while, somebody will have it, and it's never with the whole series because it's so clunky. It's actually usually off to the side. If I can find a video, I'll send it to you.
I'll just search it out. Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool. So I don't know why I threw that in because I love DVDs and Blu-rays. So
it's all right. The Blu-rays are better. You know?
yeah, well, if they're done well.
Yeah, if they're done well. All right. Anyway, let me jump back to me. Hey, everybody, it's all Roger D. I believe we're wrapping this up. This is our second talk, Doctor Who talk with Kam and Roger. We had covered season 1, the Christopher Eccleston series. Talking about Russell T Davies and his ideas. You know, we will get into that later because there are a few misses.
I think that almost has to be its own video.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of stuff that could be its own video, actually.
Yeah. Especially, you know, Donna's first episode was kind of with the little fat creatures.
Adipose.
Let's not jump ahead. All right. Anyway, it's
Spoilers.
yeah, spoilers. So anyway, thanks for, if you have, sitting through this entire episode. I haven't even looked at the time, but I have a feeling we've went way over.
I'm pretty sure it's like 2 hours right now.
Yeah,
To be
yeah.
honest.
And it'll be thrown up there in its entirety. But hey, we love talking about the Doctor, and we just touched on the first series of the new season, and we hope you enjoy it. Please sub to, the links will be up ahead, floating up ahead. Please sub to me, Channel Donstar. Please sub to Cameron on his Harsh Ass channel. And keep watching our channels for season 2, the David Tennant years beginning. And we'll see you all in the next video. Cam, any final words?
Watch Doctor Who.
Yes.
And that's also, please do comment below, add to the discussion. The question.
Oh, go
We
ahead.
had a question.
Go ahead.
Previously from, it was on
James.
James?
James is all that's on there.
The question was, what is your favorite season or series in each set of Doctor Who, classic or new Who? Mine, his response was season 16, The Key to Time, and
Yes.
series 9. And I actually have to agree with him.
Yeah.
Season 16 is such a fun series.
It is.
Because Ramona really pushes the Doctor to his limit. Because her goal is to get the key to time pieces, and be done. And the doctor's like, well, we got to fix the situation. There's more to it. And she's just like, but we could just grab it and go. That's it. And he's like, but I have to meddle.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the Ramona of just that season. Because
Yeah.
didn't Lala Ward take over, or was she first?
No, she was second, and she was in
was
that
second.
season. She was in that season. She was in the last episode of that season,
Ah,
the
okay.
last story,
Okay.
playing as the princess of whatever the planet was. And then I
Is that
guess
the
she
mirror?
wanted.
Is that the mirror episode where she
I
stayed?
think so.
Okay. It's been
I mean, it's a White Guardian episode.
it's been a
so.
while. It's been a while. I'd have to say my favorite Tom Baker season, I'm just pulling this out of my butt, is the horror season, which consisted of Horror of Fang Rock, Talons of Wang Chiang, Brain
Is that the
Morbius.
That's Leela and
Yeah, it was
Sarah Jane, right?
Yeah, it's Alila and Split. I believe Hand of Death was Sarah Jane.
Or Hand
That
of
might
Fear. Or,
Hand of Fear. That might have been near the beginning. But yeah, that season, and then isn't that the season also where he battles the Master in the Matrix?
yeah, because that's the in between of the ending of Sarah Jane and the beginning of Leela, because he had to go back to Gallifrey.
Yeah, although Invisible Enemy, the one where they go in the body, is kind of bad because of the special effects. You gotta look past the special effects when you're looking at 70s Who. But yeah, I think that's my favorite season. One, because it's my favorite Doctor. Two, because I just love the stories. I love the stories of that. Pyramids of Mars might be in that group.
Would be right at the beginning.
That was before he went into the hall red, with the red scarf and the red coat.
Yeah.
I do believe. I'd have to really look back. It's been a while. What was the other question?
And the other one was your favorite new season. Season of New Who.
Oh, the first Matt Smith, 11th hour on. God,
Right
what
from the get-go.
a beautiful start to a fairy tale. An amazing fairy tale, leading up to the giant. I call it the block. What is it called? I can't think of it. The Pandora's box.
Yeah, the Pandorica.
Pandorica. Oh my God, I love that season of New Who. Yeah. So anyway, enough said.
Mine, my favorite season of New Who. Once again, I have to agree with him. It's actually series 9. Even with the iffy ending, because I don't hate the ending
What
like
was
everybody
9?
else does.
Remind me of 9.
9 was the one we just had.
Oh, okay.
Even though with the lackluster ending that everybody hated, it seems like universally, I didn't hate it that much. I found a lot more enjoyment than I did hating it.
Yeah.
There were problems, but overall it was a positive for me. But no, just beginning with Davros, which had, for once, Moffat kept a secret.
Yeah.
So when Davros appeared right at the opening credits, it blew me away. I was like, we're talking about the same Davros here, right?
And in those
This little kid.
previews, those teaser previews.
So,
Yeah.
and Missy was great in it. Well, at least I liked her a lot more in the second episode than I did in the first. And then moving on, we had the Zygon invasion, which was amazing. The creepy underwater base unit, which was like a throwback to classic Who, I felt.
Yes. Yes.
And then
Was that that wasn't the Silurians. That was you're talking the one where they're in the submarine, right?
no. That's Ice Warriors, and that's 11th Doctor.
Ice War. Yeah.
This is the one with that ghost and the Fisher King.
Oh, yeah. They had to capture him in that tank area. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had what's his name? A Shielder was okay. I still really liked her, but I didn't love her like everybody else did. I thought she was kind of overrated.
Well, that's kind of like me too with Donna Noble. There's a love for her. The first 3, 4 episodes, I was like, who is this? What are they doing to the show? And by the end of that season, again, Stolen Earth, and you know, and then the screwing with her mind at the end, and the 3 doctors, 4 doctors, 5 doctors. I kind of really liked that season, but the Matt Smith's first season was just brilliant because it was such an amazing introductory season to the character, and it was done in such a fairy tale type way. So, yeah.
But
All
always
right.
please leave your questions below.
Yeah,
It was
give us
fun
some
answering that one.
comments. Yeah, give us.
Hopefully our next video won't take so long, so you don't have to sit through 2.5 hours of fluff.
Well, you'll sit through 2.5 hours of us. But yeah, now on my channel, I'll be able to upload the entire thing. It won't be in channel or chapters. So if you've made it this long through it, thanks for watching.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, you win the TARDIS. Here we go. Oh, there we go. All right, enough. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please check in when we do our season 2, the David Tennant introductory years. Will you shut up? Okay. It's taken off. Well, that'll fit in with the end music. Yeah, everybody. Thanks for watching, and write your comments down below. What do you think? Did you like Eccleston? Did you just tell us stuff? Just be conversational. Conversational.
Come on, guys. Conversational.
Conversational. That is right. No, it isn't. Just write down below what you think of Doctor Who. Damn it. All right.
Keep it simple.
Yeah. It's all me, Roger D, for Channel Donstar. Cameron, say goodbye.
Adios, guys, from Harsh Arse.
We'll see you in the next video. All right, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.